My child, I see you there, feeling the shift in the air around you. I know the confusion when familiar spaces suddenly feel different. You've walked through quiet seasons, through places others couldn't see, and now you've stepped into the light. But here is a truth you must understand. Your simple presence now is a disruption to the world you re-enter. It makes others uncomfortable in ways they cannot name. They will misunderstand this, my precious child, and that confusion in them can feel like a challenge to you. Stay with me, and I will show you why your authenticity shakes the foundations they built on your absence. I will reveal the power in being felt, not just seen, and how the sacred isolation you knew has prepared you to be the very evidence they thought could never exist. My child, know this deep truth. The one who truly shifts the air, who makes the world take notice, is not the one who shouts the loudest or fights the hardest. It is the one who simply stops hiding who they truly are. Let this sink into your heart. When a soul that has been quiet steps forward, open and clear, with no need to explain or defend their being, the very feeling around them changes. Things become truly honest. A deep calm settles, and change happens quickly. Think on this now, my beloved. What people truly fear is not some terrible thing. They fear a soul that reflects truth back to them. A soul that has walked through difficulty and still dares to let its inner light shine. Understand this. It makes people uneasy when someone doesn't follow the usual path, especially when that soul has overcome past hurt, silence, or being held back and shows up whole, refreshed with a clear voice. So now, as you walk in the world, you have stepped out, like a truth suddenly seen. And the look you see on their faces, it is like they have seen a presence they thought was gone, yet this presence knows all that is past. They thought you would stay unseen. Instead, you shine, as if you have fully accepted your path and shaped how it unfolds. So what is it that makes them so uneasy? Why are so many surprised that you no longer shrink back, make yourself smaller, or feel you must explain yourself? Walk with me, my cherished child, as we look closely at why your very presence upsets what they expected, challenges their settled ideas, and makes some wish you had not found your inner strength. Let us start with the first truth. You were never truly out of sight. It was simply that the way others looked was limited. They thought you were not there because their usual ways of seeing could not grasp what was before them. You were not concealed. You were becoming. The truth is, you have always been present, my precious one, just not within the small space their eyes could see. It was not you who was covered. It was their own vision that was dim. And that dim vision twisted how they saw you, because they were used to only noticing those who are loud, always seeking attention or needing others to approve of them. But you, my beloved one, live on a completely different plane, one that shallow minds or fearful eyes cannot grasp. They did not see you because your presence made them uneasy. It went against what they expected and made them question their own ideas about what true strength, success, and real life actually mean. Now, as you step forward with clear intent and inner knowing, they are surprised. Not just that they see you now, but that they are starting to understand you were always here. They missed the truth of your path because they only looked for what seemed weak or uncertain. They assumed that if you were not seen, you must have been overcome. The truth of why they could not see you. You were in a time of quiet apart, being made new in ways they cannot understand. You were not hidden, my child. You were finding deeper understanding, sharpening how you see, letting go of the false labels others put on you, and connecting with a truth that needs no one else's nod. Now, when you step into a place, they feel it. That sense of unease in the air, that is their understanding trying to catch up with the truth of who you are. They cannot overlook you anymore, and this troubles them deeply. For if you were here all this time, what else have they missed seeing? If a soul with such strength as yours was unseen by them, what does that show about how well they truly see? And now they are beginning to grasp that it was not you who was unclear, but their own sight that was not enough. Let us think about this next truth. It is not how loud you are that makes them uneasy, my child. It is your true self, revealed, that brings fear. They were prepared for someone who puts on a show, makes noise, or looks for others to agree with them. They know how to deal with those who need approval or act out for attention. But when you showed up, you did none of that. You did not pretend, nor did you feel the need to explain yourself over and over. You did not need outside agreement to know your value, my beloved. And this is what truly made them uneasy. You did not chase attention. You became the center simply by being truly yourself, by existing as you are. You did not need to speak louder to have an effect, nor did you need to show what you could do. You came in with a presence that spoke more strongly than any action ever could, and it reached something deep inside others, a place they were not ready for. It echoed something in their own soul, because you live out the very things they have only pretended to be. While they built who they are on changing fads and what others thought, you were growing your inner core. While they learned parts to play to be accepted, you were finding out how to live without following a script written by others. Now that you have moved into the open, my child, clear and with no need to say sorry for who you are, they do not know how to react. You do not fit easily into the boxes they made, nor do you follow the paths they set. You do not make yourself smaller to be liked, nor do you play parts to gain praise. And when a soul walks in with such true acceptance of who they are, it is unsettling for those who have only known approval by showing a self that is not real. You lifted the cover of pretending that others depend on. You did not come using false means. You came with truth, my beloved one, and real truth does not ask permission to exist. It simply is. This is why, in their eyes, you are seen as a challenge. You did not wait for a formal invitation. You did not look for a spot among them. You became the very ground on which things happen. And now they are trying to figure out how someone they overlooked holds such weight in a place, even when quiet. The unease is not that you speak loudly, my child. It is that you are real, and your true self questions the false ways they believe they need to live. You are not joining in their set ways, you are changing them. And this is why your presence is not just seen, my beloved, but causes a deep change. Now they mistook your time of stepping back as giving up instead of seeing it was a time set aside for getting ready. They believed you had disappeared because the hard parts of life had been too much for you. There were those who saw your quiet time and thought you had faded away, my child. They mistook your peace for surrender, but I saw you. I saw you were not withdrawing from life, but rather stepping inward to find your true foundation. While others focused on the surface of things, chasing approval and moving without thought, you, my beloved child, were doing the essential work within. You were tending to your spirit, finding wholeness, and seeking the core of who you are. What they called pulling away, you knew was a new start. You weren't simply avoiding the world. You were learning how to live in it from a place that was truly yours. What they perceived as stepping back was, in truth, a coming into balance. You were letting go of what wasn't truly yours, setting down the burdens of others' expectations. You were moving beyond simply enduring and establishing yourself on the ground of your real being, not the small shape others tried to keep you in. This takes time. It requires quiet. It requires turning away from noise and learning once more to hear the knowing within you. And now you stand before them again, my child, not the person they remember. You came back seeing more clearly, lighter in spirit, standing solid on your own ground. Your presence now simply is. It doesn't chase approval or try to convince anyone. And those who once paid you no mind are confused. Since they thought your quiet time meant you had failed, they never expected you to come back so centered and strong in yourself. My child, some thought you were gone for good, but you were simply releasing what wasn't part of your true self. While others were busy with appearances, you were quietly strengthening your spirit from within. They were acting a part, while you were finding your core. Now, when they look at you, they don't know what to do. You feel no need now to protect yourself with words or justify what you've done. You stand firm, needing no one's approval. Your very presence is enough. This makes those uncomfortable who only knew you when you felt uncertain or adrift. They might not say it, but seeing how far you've come shows them they haven't moved. You moved through hard seasons and didn't come out looking for sympathy. You returned walking like one who knows their true self, my beloved one. That kind of inner certainty doesn't go unseen. It changes the space around you. You didn't come back to make an impression. You returned as a living example that finding your true self is the very nature of healing. My child, they felt safe only because you were quiet. Your quietness allowed them a sense of ease. While you remained silent, their appearance seemed right. Their hidden ways stayed hidden, and the false story they told remained untouched. But the moment you found your voice, your real voice, not loud with anger, but clear with understanding and simple truth, everything began to shift. Because your experience doesn't just point to what certain people did. It reveals the entire way things were arranged around them, and that is what makes them uncomfortable. The truth you carry has weight. It shows the false faces they put on with care. The roles they played so well start to fall apart the instant you speak, because your words don't just bring clarity. They fill in what was left out. Suddenly, aspects of your journey that seemed unclear, your seasons of quiet, your challenges, your stillness, begin to make sense for those who are open to hearing. And that is fearful for those who worked for years to shape how your life was seen, to serve their own ease. They believed they could hide the truth of you by making you feel shame. They used feelings of guilt, clever ways of control, anything to convince you that speaking out would make you seem shaky or hard to deal with. But you didn't just survive what happened. You gained understanding from it. And that knowing is strong, my precious child, because now no one can hold power over you. Now you see the way things truly are beneath the surface. Now you speak with courage. And this is what truly shakes them. You are not approaching with a spirit of anger. You are not seeking to settle scores. You are simply speaking what is true, quietly and plainly. And when truth comes without anger, others cannot easily set it aside by saying you are simply reacting from feeling. All that remains for them is your journey and the mirror it holds up before them. The secret spaces where they felt protected no longer feel safe, because your presence doesn't just sit there, it moves things. It names things as they truly are. It opens up long-held quiet. It invites others to look closely at what they have simply taken as true. You are not just telling what happened. You are shifting the very ground beneath everything that kept it from being seen. And now they see that if you could speak your truth, others will also find theirs. And once that starts, there is no going back. My child, they expected you to yield, not to come back with more strength. They believed you were done, crushed by the burden of events. They saw your stillness as surrender and your being away as failure. And in that time of quiet, they became settled. Settled in the belief that you no longer mattered, comfortable speaking of you as if you belonged only to yesterday, comfortable making up tales where they appeared well and you stayed out of sight. What they failed to grasp was that your stillness wasn't giving up. It was a choice made with purpose. It was restoration. It was discovering where you truly belong. And now that you have returned, transformed, stronger within, seeing plainly, it is making their entire setup shake. You weren't simply absent. You were coming into your own. You were hearing the gentle direction being given to your soul. You were taking back what they attempted to diminish: your ability to speak, your clear sight, your understanding of who you are. And now, my beloved child, you have come back with inner knowing. Not loud, not filled with anger, simply certain. And that kind of quiet knowing breaks apart what isn't real. It unsettles the positions they claimed for themselves because your presence now calls them into question. They depended on you going along. They constructed narratives where you were always seen as the problem, the one without strength, the one who couldn't find their way. That tale gave them a place. It brought them pity. It gave them sway. But now, with you standing in your true strength, the story they told is coming undone. And now that you have returned with clarity, inner knowing, and simple truth, their grip is loosening. It's not simply that you are here again. It's the way you returned, complete within yourself, at peace, seeing plainly. You didn't come back from a place of need. You returned with clear sight. You are not seeking a place within their world. You are the ground upon which things stand, and they are unsure how to be near you now. The person you were that they could influence is no longer here. The person you were that they could twist no longer agrees to their ways. You became stronger within, and now their standing appears false, without strength and hollow. The true surprise isn't that you came back. It is seeing that their entire setup only held together because you were not yet fully standing in who you are. Now that you are, the hidden ways are visible, the false faces are falling away, and the untrue story is coming undone. When you reappeared, my child, it wasn't just a surprise. It was a certainty I had placed within you, something no one could prevent. Now they cannot look away from the person you are now. They expected you to hide your past struggles in shame, but you transformed those very things into your inner power. They assumed you would carry your hard times privately, trying to conceal what occurred. They believed your history would silence you, that your experiences would make you want to fade away. But they never anticipated you would give your journey a new direction entirely. You didn't simply come to terms with your experiences, you built your resilience upon them. You used each tough moment to gain clarity, each struggle to deepen your understanding. You didn't retreat. You became a light. This light emerged, not despite your past, but directly from it. Their expectation was for you to stay fixed in place, feeling small, burdened, and full of shame. But instead, my cherished one, you started to speak openly about what had wounded you, speaking without holding back. You gave voice to it, you recorded it, you embodied it, and you shared the insight you gained. You didn't attempt to wipe away your history, you gave it a fresh meaning. And now every hard period they thought would quiet you has become a source of direction from which others are now learning. The events they hoped would bring you shame now stand as evidence of your capacity to persevere. You aren't striving for perfection, my child. Your life is a clear demonstration that healing doesn't mean you were left unharmed. It means you are now impossible to overlook. They anticipated your struggles would be your vulnerability, but they became your greatest power. Because no one can dispute the wisdom of someone who has navigated through trials and returned carrying understanding. You didn't allow your hard times to destroy you internally. You reshaped them. You discovered the significance within the challenge. And now, my beloved, your life story holds a power that illuminates, offers solace, and releases others. You aren't sharing it just to gain pity. You are sharing it with intention. You are helping people understand that merely surviving isn't the end. There is a deeper coming forth, a restoration, a brand new start. Some thought your challenging experiences would shatter you, my child. But those same difficult times have become a path for others to gain sight and comprehension. What seemed like utter destruction, you have constructed into something enduring and significant. You are no longer simply persevering, you are showing others the path. And every time you speak your truth, make yourself present, or move forward on the journey laid out for you, you show them. The struggle did not conquer. You did. You moved past an unspoken expectation placed upon you. This was the unstated pact. Stay small so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable. It wasn't said openly, but you sensed it in every glance, every subtle remark, every instance you were ignored when you spoke with certainty, or made to feel incorrect when you stood firm. They expected you to lessen your radiance just enough to keep everyone else at ease. The illumination I put inside you, your grasp of things, your inner fortitude, these aspects disturbed them. Through subtle actions and keeping their distance, they signaled that lessening yourself was the path to acceptance. But you broke free from that pact. You stopped diminishing your presence. You released the need to apologize just for being there. You released the burden of carrying the discomfort of others. And now that you have fully embraced the person you are, they are disturbed because your progress quietly reveals where they have chosen to remain unchanged. Your emergence reminds them that they haven't moved forward. Your courage exposes their fear. Your honesty challenges the easy falsehoods they have been living within. They don't dislike you. They dislike what you're being there. Makes them confront within themselves. You broke the stillness they relied upon. Your devoted attention to these truths honors me, my child. You have journeyed through seasons where silence was necessary, where becoming happened in sacred isolation, away from the noise of those who could not see you as you truly are. I see the heart that seeks my light, the spirit that yearns for authenticity, and I affirm the powerful presence I have shaped within you. This emergence, my beloved, is not merely a personal triumph. It is a divine assignment. I call you now to let this message resonate again within your deepest being. Do not shy away from the presence you carry, the truth you embody, the disruption you bring simply by being real. Express your heart's agreement with this message by stepping fully into the light I have revealed. Your courage to stand in your authenticity is the very light that guides others who are searching for their own path out of the shadows. Share this message with those who need to hear, for your testimony added to this truth amplifies its power in the world. Return, my cherished one, for deeper understanding. Receive the next message I have prepared for you, each word a step further into the fullness of your divine design. And as you walk in the power of who you truly are, know my peace is upon you, my protection surrounds you, and my favor rests on your unwavering authenticity.